It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. This show is kind of like special to me because Gospel House is a part of my gyra, especially being the DJ that I am and putting out a lot of Mixcloud uh, Gospel House tapes. I have a special guest today that's actually in that realm of actually being a Gospel House artist. And I bring to you in the House of the Legends, Pam Weathers. Hey, Pam.
Hey, Tyrone.
How's it going?
It's going great. How about yourself?
I'm quite well. Like I was saying before, this show is special to me because Gospel House is a part of my life. It's a part of how I live. It's a part of my culture as far as creating things and actually serving my Lord and Savior. So apparently everybody doesn't look at it like that, but I do. Everybody look at
Right.
Gospel House as recreation or something just to dance to or move their head to. But I look at the intensity of it.
Right.
And I listen to your music as well. And I feel your spirit when you're actually when you're actually belting out those notes. So now let's talk about Pam Weathers. How did you actually start your craft?
I started at a young age at 5 years old, coming from a musical family, was raised in the church. Started singing in church at the age of 5 years old. Started out playing instruments and then graduating to choir director, minister of music. From there, I started meeting different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I started singing with George Sykes from S3 and Robert Stevens, and the list goes on of the people that I worked with and sang with.
Right.
And so I did a lot of professional things, gospel wise and R&B. But
Okay.
gospel has always been my first love. So it's just all that I come from. I got to travel and work with many people. And it's such an honor to work with the people I've worked with.
Let's tell the viewers about some of the people that you actually shared the stage with, because, I mean, we got some real live high fidelity people that you actually shared the stage with. Can you tell the viewers about that?
I sure can. I started out first working with Hakeem Bell. He is actually the son of Cool from Cool and the Gang.
Yes.
So Hakeem became my producer, started working with him. Then from there, I met Ted Wizard Mills of Blue Magic. And I was in a group with him called New Magic. So it was two of us, two girls, two guys. And Ted just took me under his wing. And I did a lot of rehearsing with him.
Mm-hmm.
We did a song that we had worked on. And when I say he took me under his wing, he really put a lot of time into me.
Mm-hmm.
From him, I got to sing with Mavis Staples, did backgrounds with her.
Right.
I got to share the stage with Yolanda Adams, George Sykes, S3 and the Truth, which is I'm still a part of them.
Right.
And again, the list just goes on and on.
So let's talk about some of the highlights in your career, because everybody has one, and share some memories to your viewers about some of the things that, as far as you were actually doing some entertainment, share some thoughts about that.
The highlights you're talking about as far as right now, correct?
Yeah, or some past tense,
Yeah, some highlights for me again. One of the biggest highlights for me, again, is working with singing backgrounds from Mavis Staples. I mean, this is a person that I grew up with and listened to.
Right.
And I always loved the song I'll Take You There. But to be able to stand behind her and actually sing with her and do backgrounds was absolutely amazing. To share the stage with Donald Lawrence and Yolanda Adams,
Right.
Hezekiah Walker, Mary, and again, the list goes on. George Sykes, S3 and the Truth. We did How Sweet the Sound. I don't know if you ever heard that. That's the gospel
Of
competition.
Course.
Yeah. And we came in runner-up. And we got to share the stage with many people. That was such an amazing experience because you have all these people that you grew up with on TV. And to be back there with them and they're talking to you. And it just was an amazing experience. It was a humbling experience. It was a long process, a long, tiring day, but it was every bit of worth it.
Well, I'm gonna show you how the Lord works for me because uh, I have a home in Charlotte, North Carolina as well. And when I first got there, I wasn't into church. But I'm gonna show you
Right.
something. One day I was at church. It's called True Way Apostolic, right on South Tryon Street. And the guy told me, "Well, Tyrone, man, you need to go play the drums." I'm like, "What?" And he says, "Let me tell you something, man. Go play the drums, man." Because
Right.
the drummer didn't show up. So I'm like, I never really played the drums. But for some reason, the first time I ever put my hands on drums, and that's my right hand, I played like a professional. And through that, I've played in a lot of churches in Charlotte, and
Right.
just to show you how God works. You know what I'm saying?
That's the spirit.
I'm intrigued with it because drumming is really one of my loves right now, besides me actually being a producer and things of that nature.
Right.
At an early age, who actually influenced you? Who were you listening to actually encourage you to actually bring out your craft?
I was listening to, honestly, Patti LaBelle.
Okay.
She is one of my favorites. I love how Patti, when she sings, you feel it
Right.
um, in every part of your body. And she puts her heart and her soul into it. And I just admire her. So she's been one of my influence. Ted Mills of Blue Magic. Never would
Okay.
have thought. I think I was 10 years old and I went to the record store and I
Okay.
brought Out of the Blue by Blue Magic.
Right.
And this older guy said to me, he looked at me, he said,
What you know about that,
"What you know about that?"
right?
And I said, "Listen, my mom, she raised me off of that. I mean, my mother just always played music around me.
Right.
So I'm like an old soul. I've always been that young person. I never really listened to music in my age group.
Hmm.
I've always listened to older music. So I had people like that. Of course, Whitney Houston, all the
Right.
greats that's out there. I mean, you can't take that away from her. Vanessa Bell Armstrong.
Right.
Again, the list goes on and on. So I listen to everything, and I'm inspired by these great artists.
My question to you is, so singing gospel, then actually making transition to gospel house. Can you tell the viewers about that?
Yes, that was a transition. Most
Okay.
people they're very used to me singing really gospel.
Right.
So when I went into house music, it was kind of like the people that follow me gospel wise, they didn't understand it at first.
Hmm.
I think they assumed that I was just going to do regular house. But
Right.
what I wanted to do was bring God's message into house music.
Okay.
Of course, the church sometimes frown on because it's a beat. But for me, it's about the message. You have to bring the generation that we have right now is a little all over the place. We all know that.
Hmm.
So a lot of them are not going to come into the church. They weren't raised in the church the way we all were. When we were growing up, we didn't have a choice,
Right.
to go to church. You were going whether you like it or
Yeah.
not.
Well, I can
Uh,
identify with that.
yeah, and this group of young people, they can pick and choose. We didn't have that option.
Right. Right.
So they didn't grow up with God the way we did. So
Okay.
what I try to do is take that message, and since you will not come into the church, I'll bring
Right.
it to the club,
Hmm.
and hopefully to inspire someone, to uplift someone, because especially in the time that we live in right now with this pandemic, it is insane.
Right.
And so my job is to uplift someone. I always say, if I don't feel it, if it doesn't move me, no one else is going to feel it. You have to believe what you're singing in. You have to believe the message and you have to
Right.
deliver it. So my goal is just to make sure people hear the message. If you don't know God, that you get to know him. And
Right.
hopefully I'm one of those people that introduce them through house, gospel house.
Okay. Um, when you actually sing or perform, you know, um, do you actually express yourself to the point where you want to actually have your viewers feeling what you're feeling?
Absolutely. I'm kind of known in the gospel area. I'm one of those hard gospel
Right,
singers.
right.
So when I transitioned into gospel house, I kind of pulled back from that.
Okay.
I try to give a different Pam
Right.
with the new Pam and the old Pam mixed.
Right.
But what you see is what you get.
I hear that. Well, it seemed to pay off for you.
Thank you.
You have a lot of viewers, and I've done my homework on you, and a lot of people really accept you for being the artist that you are.
Yes.
So my question to you is, through your production, do you write your own lyrics, or stuff like that? And when you're actually writing your lyrics, what's your feelings towards it, and what are you actually expressing? Now, we know that you're doing it through a spiritual realm, but what's your first thoughts about it when you're actually writing your productions?
My first thought is, how can I reach someone? What's going on today that's relevant, that will minister not only to myself, but to others? Right now, again, we just live in a time where people need to be uplifted and inspired, because you have a lot of depression going on, financial things are going on, people are passing all over the place.
Right.
So we live in a time that none of us have ever seen ever before.
Right.
So when I write right now, it's how can I touch and reach someone to keep them from maybe, losing their mind, or uplifting them in this time that is so hard. I try to put what I'm going through in it. I'm very careful with writing. I'm not used to writing. Writing is actually new for me.
Right.
I've always sang what someone else written. So this has been a great challenge for me. But just to make sure that you paint a story, you paint a picture, and you deliver the message. Okay. Again, it's all about the message.
I hear you. Well, we're going to take a slight little pause, and we're going to listen to Pam Weathers. Some things that she has done, and I hope that you guys enjoy it, and we'll be right back.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Don't turn around. You ain't really down. Playing the games you do. Someday, everything will be alright. And different people make the world go round.
And it's all because of you, my dreams are coming true.
You're the sun that erases my rainy day.
Right now, I don't care who's watching.
For whatever the reason there might be.
With your love by my side, the world will be mine. You're the one for me.
Yeah.
seem to find your way. Just hold on, it won't be long, yeah. You gotta be strong. Better days are coming your way. Better days are coming your way. Better days, ooh, yeah.
It's It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
My assignment, my calling is to inspire, uplift.
You have to make sure your people are partying.
All I want to do is just bring joy to the dance floor and watch people dance.
Hello, we're back. My name is Tyrone Lowe. This is my show, The Legends. And we're featuring today a very special guest of mine, Pam Weathers. Hey, Pam.
Hey, Tyrone.
You know, it's very inspiring to know that we have a lot of artists like you that's actually lifting up the Lord today, you know. And I don't want the show to feel like it's a Christian show. It's just something that we just need to know as far as the message is concerned. We try to separate the mess from the message, you know. So,
right.
And that's what it's all about. So, Pam, you know, in the future, what are you really looking for? I mean, because we all have our goals and we all paint those pictures, you know. So, tell the viewers about what you want to actually project as years come through. Now, we can't say that tomorrow is definitely there for us, but just give us some thought.
I just want to be a positive inspiration. I want to leave that. When I leave here and the day I close my eyes, I just want people to look back and say, she always inspired us, no matter what it looked like. You know, there's a song that says sometimes you have to encourage yourself.
Right.
And sometimes you have to do that. You can't lean on others. So sometimes, you know, music is therapeutical. No matter, for me, when I'm going through, I put on music and it's my therapy. Besides God, music is my therapy. So I'm hoping I can be that person that just have some records out and that my family and people can look back on and say they're proud, and something that people, when they're going through, they can just press play and hopefully to be inspired and uplifted and encouraged.
You know, there's a lot of artists out there now, you know, and if you had to work with anybody right now,
right,
who would you actually work with?
If I had to work with anyone,
who would you like to work with? You know,
right? Who would I like to work with? Oh,
right.
There's so many. If I could work with someone right now, especially in house music, it would be Josh Milan. I love Josh Milan.
Okay.
Lady Alma, Aaron K. Gray, Cherie Hicks. There's so many there. And then as far as gospel wise, I would love to work with, I love Tasha Cobbs. I love her. There's so many people. Mary, I would love to be able, well, now it's just pretty much Erica Campbell, but I would love to work with her as well. And there's so many others. I can't even, Patti LaBelle, of course, that's my idol. So I would absolutely love to work with Patti LaBelle if I could.
Okay. Sounds great. I mean, that sounds real good, you know. Anything from your heart that you really want your viewers to know, you know, any ups and downs you want to share that God actually recovered you from, you know, as far as a testimonial thing?
Yes, I've been through a lot. You know, people always say, I don't look like what I've been through. You don't know my story. And that's a kind of a church cliche that we say, but it is fact. I've been through a lot. I suffered from physical abuse. And also I'm a victim of sexual abuse.
Okay.
And so my music that's what kept me going. That's what kept me from leaping off the cliff. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'm just grateful for the fact that the music is what got me through it. Because if it wasn't for that, and again, I always will go back to God. Because if I did not have him, I really don't know where I'd be. So I try to, right now, I'm working on some things that dealing with people who are victims of that,
right.
Sexual abuse.
Okay.
So I just want to help someone, and how I got through it and how I still get through it.
Right.
I just want to help someone get through that as well.
You know, that's a good thing because there's a lot of people out there can actually identify with you. A lot of people don't talk about it. I think they should. And
absolutely.
I hope through this footage that they can actually identify with it and open up to it, you know, to actually solve the equation with it. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I just love this show right now. You know what
Me
I'm saying?
too.
Because I'm feeling the spirit in it, really.
Thank
You
you.
know,
Thank
and I'm
you.
glad that you're able to actually be honest about certain things that you're actually dealing with, because that's what gives the show more fidelity. You know,
Absolutely.
I want to shout out to Ania. You know, Anaya.
My cousin Anaya Weathers.
Yes, I want to shout out to her, man, because right now she's actually doing her thing.
Oh, she
You know,
is.
I want to shout out to Paula Brion because you were on her show,
Yes.
and that was a phenomenal show as well.
Thank you. Love her.
You know what I'm saying? In the years to come, you know, how do you really want to really inspire those that really needs to really be inspired by God?
Honestly, by telling them the truth, what I just told them. Some people do not like to tell their story. They will tell everything.
Right.
But you have to be honest, because when we hide what we've been through, someone is going through it. And a lot of times we walk around and people have the same story that we have. It just may be a little different. And we were always taught, especially in the Black family, we don't talk about it. Sweep it under the rug. You don't go to counseling. There's things you shouldn't do.
Right.
You know, if you go to church, you serve God. So what do you need a counselor for? Well, sometimes you need God, a counselor, and some music for therapy and everything. So, you know, I want to be honest. You know, I'm not a perfect person. None of us are, but I'm me.
Right.
And I'm grateful for the things that I have been through, because it made me stronger today.
Right.
So I believe that everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And my job is to encourage another person that's going through or afraid to tell it or talk about it. So that's my job, is to tell my story, and hopefully others will do the same so we can help someone.
Right. Well, my thing is, if you don't go all the way through, man, you're not going to get there.
No, you're not.
You got to go through.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
What I want to say to you is that, you know, inspiration is a very important thing of our lives, you know, to inspire, to actually suppress, and actually sustain as well.
Right.
You know, and as being an artist that you are, what do you feel is actually your purpose?
Wow. I believe my purpose was absolutely to be here to do music. I'm a different type of artist. But that's what music is. It's about being different. It's about being unique. I can't be a copycat. I can't be someone else, because I'm not them and they're not me. So for me, it's just being authentic. I don't want to be a counterfeit. That's something I always say. I think to thy own self be true. That's one of my statements. So for me, I wanted other people to look at it and be, you know, she was honest.
Right.
She was truthful. She was her. She loves God. And that's what I'm hoping someone else to be. A lot of people are not being themselves.
Right.
And we're walking around miserable inside because you're not being who you are and what God put you on this place to be. I'm here to reach different people that other people cannot reach. And other people reach people that I can't reach.
Okay. So anybody want to reach out and shout out to? I mean,
I do. To my music mentors, Robert Stevens and George Sykes, I want to shout out to. My producer, Teo Wink, who I'm now under Panda Boy Music. I also want to shout out DJ Beloved, who is my brother, and I come from Carmen Brown, my big sis. I love her.
She's out there in Charlotte too.
Oh yeah, she is. She mentors me, and she's a great person.
Great.
Anaya Weathers, my cousin. I go on Kiss Your Link.
Okay. My thing is that I really appreciate you being on this show, because the fidelity is really more spiritual than more the format of actually being an artist. And I believe that's very, very epic. You know, the intensity and the flow, the connection, the chemistry, and all that, you know, and I'm loving all this. You know, if I can, I would take it for another half an hour, but I can't. You know what I mean? But I thank you so much for just being on my show and sharing your strength, hope, and your experiences to the viewers. And I want you guys to actually, you know, support her in her cause, not just for actually her music, but the message and the spirituality that she's bringing forth to you guys. And this has been another T-Lo video production, and this has been Pam Weathers on the show, and y'all stay tuned for another T-Lo video production. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house. It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.